Welcome back. There's like a nice shady spot here at the edge of this, the Madison. Whoops, I'm blocking my lens there. At the edge of the Madison Square Garden parking garage, and a shady spot to walk through. When it's as hot as it is today, little shady spots really make a big difference. So it's 3:04 p.m. still Thursday afternoon. Today's feeling really good. I got a lot done while I was at the Social Security Administrative Office, and since I didn't have a burrito, they let me in. Well, look at that. Like, you can't get through that way because they got fences up, walls up. And all the fences and stuff is what makes it really difficult to walk around. If there were more walkways like this, places would be more walkable. But then they got all these obstacles and stuff. So the woman that helped me at Social Security, it's kind of weird how the line process was. So I went in, got past security. They make you take everything out of your pocket, like everything, which is a really awkward thing for me because I forget where I lose stuff, and I forget stuff. So I try to have a certain way I sort stuff in my pockets. And by having to take everything out, it kind of messes up my sorting. And then I gotta be real careful to put everything back in. And anyway, at least I didn't have the burrito holding me back. But yeah, so anyway, I get past them, and then you go up to oh man, out of the shade, and it just immediately got hotter. Wow, and this walkway just kind of ends here. That's not cool. So you get to cross over to I'm really curious about these houses here. It's so weird. These houses are all very much the same architecture and size, and they're like in rows behind each other. So there's some there that don't even face the street, and they all have solar on them. Very curious about those. Like there's offices, and they have openings to the north there on Washington Street, but then they got spiky walls preventing anybody from coming out this direction, even though there's on-street parking over here. So anyway, so you go in, and then you go to a computer terminal, and there's like some questions, and you key in your social security number, and there's some questions where they try to discern like what kind of help you need. And my primary thing I was trying to take care of was getting my Social Security card replaced. Because even though I have an image of it that I got from Victoria, God, Victoria is just turning into like one of the most helpful people I've ever met in my life. I mean, she's just still doing things to help me, even after I've already been fired. Now, she's not the one who fired me, and she seemed really sad to relate the information when she told me the text, that Sydney had decided not to renew my contract, or not to continue my contract or whatever. Like, she seemed really sad about it. And every time I see her, like, she's always seemed like she really cares about it just seemed like she just really cared about me. And I even kind of opened up to her about some personal stuff with Priscilla, and she seemed really flabbergasted on the whole thing, how Priscilla didn't let me, after she kind of led me to believe that she was going to, on my vehicle, like that she wouldn't have had my back to make sure I got to work that Saturday, just seemed floored by that. And I don't know, I remember her and I had this discussion about how, so someone's significant other or partner, and the things that you just, that a partner should do for someone, and she just seemed floored, and I'm like, yeah, well, her and I don't have so good of a relationship anymore, and anyway, but yeah, so she got that. Her and I have talked about how I like to sing and that I'm sort of a karaoke rock star. And she had trying to think of where the hell I'm going right now. Hey, I remembered to orient my my camera in the right direction, so at least that. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to keep myself focused here, and I'm so hungry and stuff. 3:09 p.m. Oh, Candy's sending me a message. Candy has kind of come back into my life lately, and I haven't managed to see her in person, and I think she's traveling back to Texas. She's leaving Gilbert for good because of some personal stuff going on with her that I don't really want to disclose. But there's a part of me that really genuinely loves that woman, and I think in some other timeline, her and I are just an amazingly hot couple. But anyway, sorry, she sent me another message right now. Historic church building on the left is sure neat looking. Well, it looks like another one of those historic buildings that's not actually being used or accessed by anybody, and just has big spiky fences around it, so nobody can get to it. Oh wow, that's a cop right there. The red and blues on it. That's a cop. I don't know why he's flashing his red and blues and not moving. That's odd. So anyway, Social Security office, go through the thing, get the number, and then I've been sitting there for a while, and I'm handling some other stuff, and I'll get back to what I handled before I heard the announcement. But at one point I hear this announcement that says, that if you've scanned the QR code and you've completed everything online, that you can go to this express line if you're just getting your Social Security card, which is what I'm doing. And I completed the online part on Monday. Like, that's what I did when I went there on Monday, because Tuesday I went there and I just... No, my bad. I went there Monday. I don't think I went there Tuesday. I went there Monday. I went there Wednesday. I went there today. Wednesday was the day they let me in because of the bereavement. Monday I went in there and I did and that's when I lost my daughter. Physically, lost track of her. At this point, I just really need to kind of accept that Allison is simply choosing not to contact me and choosing to be wherever she's doing. I mean, and I hope that's the actual situation and that something bad hasn't happened to her, but I have no way of knowing. I mean, I suppose there's the option of I'm going to try this street again. I got a lot of views for my short of, is this a parking lane or is this a bicycle lane? So I'm going to go through it. So I remember turning left on a, yellow blinking left arrow. About 2,500 views on that short, interestingly enough. It blows my mind how some of my shorts get a crazy amount of views. My short of the person criminally speeding on Loop 303 has got over 10,000 views now. But, okay, so here it is. Okay, so there's a bicycle thing. It looks like this is a bicycle lane, but then it says bicycle use full lane. So that's a Sharo. Not an indication of a bicycle lane, but it's a Sharo, which is confusing to me because on the other side you can see there's a bike lane on the side and then a traffic lane, but then they've decided on this side to use Sharos and combine it. And it's unusual where they would have a separated bike lane on one side. By separated, I mean separated by paint, not a real separated bike lane. And then on the other side, they do the Sharos thing, which is just stupid. I don't know why they even put that on the street. It's just confusing. Interestingly enough, this is the same exact location where on Monday, a USPS truck was blocking the lane. I get it, USPS is allowed to do that, but it seems like there should just always be a place where the mail has to be delivered in big buildings like that for the mailman to stop and park, and because they obviously got to be there for a while and not obstruct traffic. So this is where the truck was parked. So we've got Sharos, and those are definitely Sharos. I've seen the sign now that says bicycle may use full lane, which means this is a car lane. But there are no parking signs. Now, I do think that there is some kind of a law on the books that says that you can only park on the side of the road if you are a certain distance away from the double yellow line in the middle, or the line in the middle, or the center of the road. So maybe this is no parking is covered by that, but it sure would be a lot less complicated and confusing, and at least thankfully there's not a truck parked there today, but I think it'd be a lot less confusing for people if there were actually no parking signs along this street. So as I had stated, this was a one-way road southbound, one-way street southbound for a long time, and here you can see there's do not enter signs, there's vehicles facing straight at me, and there's so it's one way. They made it two-lane on the little two-way in the little bit that I am, even though it's kind of marked in a way that's a little confusing and misleading. And then, yeah, all traffic has to turn here in Roosevelt because it's still one way southbound to the north of there. So I'm heading. I got to keep my focus on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I just find myself talking to myself, which is dumb, but it's. The voices in my head have been really, really overwhelming lately, and they've been making a lot of really bad suggestions and self-destructive suggestions, and I think if I just keep kind of doing this, I can keep plugging forward and hopefully get myself into a point where I'm working again and stuff. I feel like I'm making progress. Now I'm trying to go to the Arizona car rental center because they're open till 4. It's 3:15 right now, so it's 3:15 right now. So as long as I get there by 4, I should be able to talk to the person. I want to give him that image, see if I can give him that image of my Social Security card and see if that will be good with them. Also let him know that I got my copy of their criminal their background check, which is from CrimCheck. Now I haven't looked at it. It's a PDF file, and I find it very difficult to read PDF files on my phone because it always ends up being in a text size that I can't see. And then when I try to zoom in and scroll around on it, it just always is very difficult. Back when I had a printer, I still have a printer, but it's not hooked up anymore. But back when I had my LaserJet 1100 black and white LaserJet printer hooked up, it always used to work really well for me to, whenever I get a PDF file, just open it on my computer, which was the computer I used for karaoke back then, but I could open it up on that computer and just print it, because I used to always have my printer connected for printing my karaoke books back when I had physical books, before those were an online thing on songbookdb.com. And so I'd open those up, and it would just be better. I would find it better if I could just print anything that came as ooh, that woman on the left is gorgeous. I would find it really helpful to open those and print them, and then read the printed paper. But yeah, and that was even before my eyesight went all bad. So, well, it used to be a record store on the right. I can't tell if it still is. It doesn't look like it is anymore. I believe that's the record store that got the records that I eventually managed to get back from Daniela after like a year of litigating, that she finally delivered to me, some of which were damaged when I was living in the historic house over on 4th Street, the McMillan house, but I didn't have any utilities there, and Connie and I were in the process of getting kicked out of the McMillan house, and I just had no way to move my records or anywhere to put them. And then the landlord kept them, and when he finally contacted me about them years later, and I mean almost a decade later, he said he still had them, but that he was just, you owe this money to me, and he had this huge debt that he, felt that I owed, and I suppose technically I do, but he's like, well, I won't, if you can give me that money, then I'll give you your records, and I didn't, of course, have that money, or any way to get that money. And it was at a time where I was struggling, which just seems like most of my life. And it just always just seems to be a different degree of struggle. But definitely it was a pretty high degree of struggle, I think, at that time when he contacted me. And then he said, well, they've made me an offer down at that record store, and I forget the name of that record store, but it doesn't look like it's there anymore. But anyway, the record store that was in the building I just passed, that was the record store he said that made them an offer on it. You know, and looking back now that, you know, they say hindsight is 2020, looking back on that situation now, I'm thinking that what I should have done, hindsight is 2020, man. I'm thinking what I should have done is contacted my friend Nick B with the vinyl record guy record store. Like, it wasn't as big of a business then as it is now, but I think his business was good enough then. I think if I would have told him what my situation was, I think he would have worked something out with me. I don't know why that didn't occur to me then, and it's suddenly occurring to me now. But I think he would have maybe been able to pony up the cash to get those records back from Robert, my former landlord, and would have probably been down to maybe take possession of them and maybe purchase some of them and sell them and just like when he came up to, you know, the amount of money that he put out for that, when he came to that amount of money, like, and maybe a little profit or whatever, I think he would have been like completely cool to release the rest of my records to me, and would have probably even released all the stuff immediately to me that doesn't have like high resale value. Because let's face it, most records are pretty much worthless, and a lot of my favorite records that I value in my collection are not the ones that have value, but they're just ones that I really like. You know, like the first two albums from the band Piper, which was Billy Squire's band before he got famous. I mean, he was on A&M Records, so I mean, he was signed and stuff, but he just had no commercial success at that time. And like, I treasure those records. I would be very bummed if I lost them. They're very difficult records to replace, but they don't have a lot of value. And I guess to say they're difficult to replace in today's modern world, they're really not. It's just about having money. You know, but it's not something I generally have. You know, I mean, I found them at like thrift stores for a couple bucks each, or record store bargain bins for a couple bucks each when I found them. But like when he, you know, the way I would go about getting them now would be paying market value, which is probably like $4 or $5 or something plus shipping, and the shipping ends up being more expensive. You know, so the reality is if I lost those records, I would lose those records. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. I haven't listened to my records anymore. I haven't even spun my turntable in weeks, and the last thing I played on it was that new album from The Killers, Hot Fuss, which was awesome. I played it when my friend Mason came over. The fan apparently is still working on my radiator. The temperature gauge is a lot lower than normal, and my air conditioning is blowing nice and cold right now. It's very refreshing, so thank you, Rob. So sorry I'm so out of focus today. I mean, my brain is very out of focus, and like I said, my mental health has not been good lately, and this is kind of a side effect of it. Trying to get the rental car place. I'm just wanting to let you know that, hey, I got my copy of the background check, you know. Just FYI, is there something on that you guys are objecting to? Like a baseball game or something going on. So many people here around the baseball stadium. And then also give them the copy of my social security card. Because I mean, that's still although I think the job offer with Domino's is probably better. Domino's is willing to work around whatever schedule-wise. At this point, I would be down to work both jobs, especially since neither of them are particularly physically demanding jobs. And I really believe that at this point, I need to not put all my eggs in one basket with one job. I feel like being reliant on one job is part of what has got me in the pickle that I'm in right now. And that I kind of need to have two income streams. That way, if one gets cut off, I still got the other one to make sure that I don't find myself homeless and find myself unable to pay my bills. Which reminds me, I still need to call Cox and try to work on something with Cox. So anyway, I was trying to explain what happened in Social Security. So I got my card, and I sat there for a while and handled some other stuff, and that's really good news on that other stuff. But I'll get to that in a bit. I'll just try to. But I got the. Anyway, while I was sitting there, an announcement after I'd been sitting there for a while, and maybe the announcement had been before it. I just didn't notice it because I was focused on the other stuff I was doing on my phones. But I got, oh God, hunger pains are starting to hit me. By the way, I didn't make it in time. I guess I missed lunch at the Human Resources campus. I missed lunch by about 20 minutes. They did say that there was an area where they were showing a movie. I could go in and watch a movie in an air-conditioned room. And they were probably serving snacks there, but like I can buy snacks. Like getting these other things I'm taking care of more important than sitting in a watching a movie with a bunch of homeless people so I can score some snacks. I can still afford snacks. I'm just trying not to spend that money right now. But I mean, hey, there's Jack in his box. There's snacks there. Well, there's a little taco shop on the left. I've never been to that place or even noticed that place before. Of course, most of those little taco shops have gotten too expensive for me these days, unfortunately. So anyway, yeah, I heard this announcement that if you already completed your online thing, that you could get in an express line. There was nobody in that line. And I noticed it was getting close to them calling my number at that point, but it was like, well, whatever, I'll get this express line, and whichever one gets me through this quicker. And it was really ironic because by the time she like called me from the express line, like just as she was getting started and trying to help me with stuff, was when I heard them call my name, and I think it was an issue of they called the number and I didn't respond to the number, and then they called my name instead. But she's like, no, I've got you. I got you here. So anyway, that was kind of odd the way that went down. But so the woman that helped me, and God bless her, like she was elderly and wheelchair bound, had a hell of a nice wedding ring on, so she apparently makes somebody happy, and has some man that just loves her and takes care of her and is able to put that fat ring on her finger, because I doubt that was paid for by working for the Social Security Administration, unless they pay a whole lot more than I'm aware of. I'm almost to the rental car place. So anyway, I got a receipt from her. It says I should receive my Social Security card replacement in the mail within 2 weeks. If you don't replace it within 2 weeks, call us. And then I also told her about how I had talked to somebody on yesterday. Talked to somebody yesterday on the phone that I needed in to make an appointment to try to reopen my claim and settle sort things out in my claim. And she said that Hertz is hiring. Apply at Hertz. www.hertz.jobs. Yeah, I think I got enough irons in the fire right now. So tempting to apply there. So at least I know where I'm going. I keep coming here all the time. So super long story short, so I told her that, yeah, that they schedule a phone appointment. She goes, well, they don't generally schedule. She goes, oh yeah, all they do is schedule phone. I said, she didn't ask for a phone appointment. She scheduled a phone appointment. And I didn't even know it was a phone appointment until I got this email. I showed her the email. I said, I explained to her that with my mental disability that I really struggle with doing phone appointments. That it's hard for me to discern voice on the phone from voices in my head, and that it's better, and then my focus on the phone is better. It's better when I'm one-on-one in person. I really need it. And then I also said I had a problem with my phones. Anyway, she was able to put in a thing and switch it to an in-person interview, even though she said that they don't really do in-person interviews. But she basically put in that there's a chance that I would not have phone access in August, because it's for August 9th. So it's been converted to an in-person interview. So that's good. I got that handled today. That is a big deal. And I got... So receipt shows Social Security card June 29th. You should have your card in about 2 weeks. did not receive a script contact, blah, blah, blah. So, although that document itself, I don't think anybody will accept that as in lieu of a social security card. There was a time when they used to. It has your social security number on it. Oh, it doesn't have my social security number on it too. You know, it used to be this letter, they would print your social security number on this letter, and some employers would accept that as a social security in lieu of a social security card. Of course, as soon as you got your real social security card, they want it for your files, but usually they'll let you work with it. But apparently that's not a thing anymore. Anyway, I got to get in. I'm hoping I can make some progress with the job here at the rental car center. I made some progress with Domino's Pizza as well. That was the other thing I wanted to say that I did before I heard the announcement, and I'll explain that later. At least I'll try to. Hello and welcome back, YouTube. So I went in there. I think that went good, although it felt a little awkward, so maybe it wasn't good. There's two people there in that office that apparently are part of the hiring process that I talked to. Well, the one guy I talked to, I think day before yesterday. His name's Robert, and he's the one who looked to see if anybody had found my driver's license and didn't find it. He looked through the lost and found, looked through the S and stuff, see if I left it there, and he didn't. And for those who haven't caught it, I did. You missed that segment because there's so many segments and I'm just recording way too much and oversharing right now. I'm trying to keep my head straight, really. Sorry, this driving through here is always a little awkward because there's not a lot of space between where you merge there and where you get into these lanes, and then there's freeway traffic coming in off the left side. Sort of an awkward ramp of sorts. And why is that truck next to me so high up in the air? It's so ridiculous. Shit, I lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, so yeah, I saw Robert then, and he looked for the stuff, but he didn't find it. And then when I went in the first time, of course, I kind of explained how that interview went. How there wasn't much of an interview. I gave some information to him to do this criminal background check thing through my iPhone, and with Crim Check, which is the one I heard back from today, that had the. I haven't looked at because it's all sent. They sent it as PDF files, and I have trouble seeing PDF files on my phone because the fonts are usually so small. So they trying to be on the other side of the track right now. I'm just trying to get on the light rail and head back downtown. I feel the implementation of how they did this section is just awful. It's very difficult to get in and out to those streets or to know how to do it. And the one lane, and then the track, and the little median, and then the other 3 lanes. I don't know, it just seems chaotic. Of course, I feel like rails shouldn't be put on streets. They should all be separated, but a lot of times it's just not done like that. Oh, you know what? I'm all trying to park here at 16th Street, and I should know by now there is no light rail stop at 16th Street, because that's one of those things where they do to try to keep lower class people off higher class modes of transportation. Yeah, they deliberately didn't put a light rail stop at 16th Street, even though the main bus route going north and south through here is on 16th Street, they're Route 16, just to try to keep dirtier bus riders off of the light rail because they had envisioned that light rail would have a higher class of passengers. And of course, it turns out it doesn't really for the most part. But yeah, they have the light rail station over at 12th Street where it doesn't connect to the Route 16. I'm just looking for a place where I can park and get on the light rail right now. So I'm trying to save a little bit of gas I have. I'm down to a little bit less than a quarter tank. I read somewhere that in non-English speaking countries, people think this song is called Alex the Seal. I forget where I read that, but I found that kind of funny. So it looks like no parking on 12th Street, but it looks like parking is okay here on Adams Street. So gas, grass, or ass. Haven't seen that bumper sticker in a while. Okay, I need to not lose that. The woman at the car rental place gave me her email address to send her the image. That image of, oh God, I'm trying so hard to lose that thing because it's a tiny little sticky note. I'm trying to stick it to Obamaphone 4, but it's just not adhering itself very well. Oh shit, I should put up my sunshade. Of course, then the problem, I always think it'd be so much nicer if there were shade trees planted alongside all these streets, so when you park, you wouldn't have to worry about sunshades and your car turning to the point that it's dangerously hot inside. But of course, then there's the issue of the fact we're in a desert. How do you get water for them trees? So most problems that seem simple are layered and complicated. Even ones as simple as why there's no shade along the streets where you park. God, I hope I have my light rail pass. I still haven't managed to get a date on my light rail thing. Wee O'Neill, notice of off-hours work. To all concerned parties, please consider us posting as notification work performed outside normal work hours. Feel free to contact Don Williamson with W.E. O'Neill at phone number with any concerns. Dates of off-hour work, 6:20 and 6:23:23. Time for work start 3:30 a.m. Type of work from concrete placement. I wonder if that's a legal notice that's required for these construction sites here to let them know that they're doing work like in the middle of the night. And I guess it's probably because people that live in those residential places will complain about the noise of construction crews being here. I've never been bothered by the noise of construction crews. In fact, to me, it makes a lot more sense to be doing that kind of work in the middle of the night. In fact, it's probably necessary for the concrete laying to be done in the middle of the night because with the extreme heat and sun, I would imagine that the concrete just simply sets and hardens too fast. So they probably need to do it at 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning, just for the temperature to be low enough for the concrete to be done. That's my guess on that. Not that I'm really educated in that stuff. I'm just trying to put things together in my head. Oh, look at this fancy gold shoes. They're too small to fit me, but they sure look nice. They sure look like some nice shoes. Wonder why they're there. I just heard a voice from the light rail platform. I hope I'm not getting ready to miss my train right now. Because standing there in the heat for like 20 minutes waiting for another train is not my idea of a good time. Oh shit, yeah, that is the train right there. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Wait. I ain't got no time to wait.